The Veteran Project. 4 vets, 5 vets.
We are not responsible for any trauma, PTSD, tinnitus, or flashbacks during this podcast.
Hooray!
All right, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 with Ali Rodriguez.
Hello.
And so we're going to get into Ali's job.
On a Sunday morning.
On a fucking Sunday morning.
This is how I know, like, you guys should know that I love and respect the hell out of you guys because it's Sunday morning and I'm working.
So here's the thing. Like, when it comes to this VA stuff, I only know to go to a VSO because they know what to fucking do.
Yes.
But now I'm going to have the VSO go over some of the stuff that, you know, because, like, I have some stuff that's been declined and all that shit.
Yep,
and
denied.
So, I mean, Jeffrey Gray, give Ali permission to look at my stuff before we, you know, just state the fact that she has my permission to look at this.
Thank you. And I will not put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let me see what you got.
So, well, you get to this first page.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show the camera because I'm just trying to simply look at all of my stuff and what the rating's at. And the way that the website, it's got me a little confused right now because all I'm looking at is your claims, decision, reviews, or appeals. It's like, why the fuck can I not just see, okay, yeah, PTSD, where's the 30%? Like, I'm just looking at this shit. So I'm going to have Ali explain some of this to me.
So the VA redid their website, and I don't like the new format. Okay, so first thing I see is supplemental claim for disability compensation. So that tells me that you were denied for your ankle motion and one other. So a supplemental claim, when you get denied, you have 2 options. Well, you have 3, but I don't like talking about the third option. The first option is a 0996, that's the form, higher level review. That is used when you feel that the rater made an error. Your letter comes back saying it's denied because there's no diagnosis in service. And you're like, well, fuck that. I know there's a diagnosis. So clearly the rater did not look at your medical records.
Yeah.
So you file a 0996 higher level review. You opt in for the informal conference, okay? This is the only time where you're allowed to talk to a rater. Informal conference. They're going to call you. They're like, okay, we have your higher level review. Where is our mistake? And you have
Wait, you can actually talk to these people?
Yes. Yep. On a 0996 higher level review. Yep. If you check the box, opt in for informal conference. A senior rater will call you and you get to tell them where their mistake is.
Okay.
So they call you and they're like, where's our mistake? And you're like, hey, and my VA letter, it says that there is no diagnosis and there's no continuity of care. But on page 76 of my medical records, when I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, I did go to TMC with a diagnosis of a broken ankle, and I did have surgery, and there's a screw, and now I have limited motion.
Yeah.
The rater's going to be like, okay, is there anything else? And you're like, yeah, like my knee, right? They're like, okay, we'll take it into consideration. And then they will look at page 76 of your medical records to see, oh yeah, fucking guy wasn't lying. Here it is.
Yeah.
Rater missed it. And then you'll be granted your compensation.
Yeah, because, like, I know, for example, like, I went to BAS, you know, for that ankle. You know, I have such weak ankles.
Yeah.
Every single hike we did, I always rolled my ankle.
Dude, that's, yeah.
Like,
why didn't you wear a brace?
fucking Marines. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right.
But you know, I went to BAS, got it checked out, you know, got light duty for a couple days and stuff like that. But it's, you know, for it to be, you know, all over the place, you know, I was like shocked because, like, sometimes, like, now if I just, like, accidentally pop my ankle, it's sprained.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened the other day. I was just, you know, going like this, going back and forth, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, do you have continuity of care? Do you see your primary care physician or an ankle specialist at all?
No.
No.
I'm being honest.
So that's not good.
Yeah.
Because you can tell the doctor all day long that it happens, but where's the proof, right?
Yeah.
That's like walking into a court of law, right? You're a defense attorney or you're a prosecutor. and you go to the judge and you're on this big case and you know this guy committed murder, but you have no fucking evidence, and the judge is like, well, how do you know he's guilty? Oh, because I know.
Yeah.
I know, Your Honor, he's guilty. The judge is going to fucking laugh you out of court. This is the same thing. You have to have evidence.
Okay.
So just saying it happened is not enough. You have to prove it, and unfortunately, the burden of proof is always on the veteran.
I know with you'll see my back problems on there, and I see a civilian doctor. And
and that's fine.
He's awesome. He's an Army veteran. And
oh, nice. That helps.
And like I told him, I was like, dude, my sciatic is fucking out of control.
Yep. And you put it in there, right? You put it in your medical records?
So, and like you said, we are building a case for that.
You should.
It's taking time. I'm not rushing it. And
right.
all
it does
that.
take time. Yes.
But
if to do it right, do it the right way. And that means going to your doctor's appointments. It means documenting, keeping a log of your migraines, right? Like all that stuff.
Yeah. The migraines is something I think that I have what's going on. Because there's times where my headaches are just a good 2 hours long.
Yep. So if there's nausea, if there's spots, if there's noise sensitivity, if there's light sensitivity, right? If being in a dark room helps, chances are that's a migraine.
Yeah, I'm always I always have to wear sunglasses outside, and wife turns on the light in the house, and I'm like, all right,
I prefer the dark too. Yep, I prefer the dark. Please. Yeah, and the VA gave me these blue glasses that I wear only in the wintertime because I hate artificial light.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime I wear these blue glasses, and I couldn't see. They dilated my eyes and they made me pick the glasses. So when I finally got the glasses in the mail, I'm like, this is what I picked.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so hideous. They're like blue BCGs, but they help. And I have to wear them in the wintertime, especially working at City Hall, because I can't do the artificial light. When I started in Taunton, I made the electrical engineers lower the light because it's all digital and shit.
Yeah.
Because it was too bright and I couldn't function.
Yeah.
So yeah, but do that. And then the second option, if your claim gets denied, which is what you have here, is the supplemental claim. So usually supplemental claims, well, not usually, but this is what it's for. Supplemental claims are used to submit new and relevant evidence. So let's say you go in for post-traumatic stress. This is the most common one. You go in for post-traumatic stress. You've never seen a doctor. You've never seen a counselor. You don't have a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress. You're not in therapy, but you feel you have it because your wife tells you that you're not the same person, and you feel, you're getting set off with stupid little things, and you're like, fuck, I think I have PTSD. Mm-hmm. So you apply for PTSD. Without any evidence, this is going to get denied. But you saw a VSO, and the VSO says, go get the diagnosis. Get yourself into therapy. Go to the vet center. Go to VA healthcare. And after 2 sessions, your therapist says, yeah, my friend, you have post-traumatic stress. That diagnosis is now new and relevant. So that's when you would file a 0995 supplemental claim. Because once your claim is denied, that's it. It's not like you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
You have the higher level review supplemental claim. So you'll file the 0995 with that new diagnosis. And they will relook at your claim. You're like, okay, yep, doctor said that he has post-traumatic stress. You're going to file. They're going to call you for an examination. And they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. And boom, your claim is granted.
So I don't have to go see a VA.
Nope.
Shrink.
Nope, you don't. Nope. So your civilian records, if you have a civilian, sorry, I like wicked cold and allergies here. If you have a civilian doctor, your civilian medical records are just as good as VA.
Okay.
So you don't, and also, I hear this all the time and it boggles my mind how veterans think this. You do not need your medical records in your hand to file a VA claim. I'm going to say that again. You do not need your medical records in hand to file your VA claim, okay? The VA has a duty to assist, which means that they will gather your medical records for you, especially your service treatment records, okay? If you have civilian medical records that you want to submit as evidence, you have 2 options. You can call your civilian doctor and get the records yourself, or you can have the VA do it by filling out 2 forms, a 4142 and a 4142 alpha. The 4142 is giving the VA permission to pull the records. Okay. The 4142 alpha is telling the VA from where to pull.
Okay.
So on the 4142 alpha, that's where you're going to list your doctors and the treatment that you were seeing.
Yeah.
And the 4142 just gives the VA permission, right?
Okay.
You're giving them permission. Or you can pull it yourself and then submit it all to Janesville.
Okay.
If there is a fee associated with pulling your records, the VA will not pay for it. So it is your responsibility to call the doctor saying, hey, you're going to get a letter from the VA. Please comply with that letter. Give them everything that they ask for. Okay. And then someone on my TikTok says that the VA cannot get vet center records. That is correct. Even though the vet center is like, it's VA run, they don't share their records.
Really?
Nope. So you have to give the vet center permission to give the VA raters your records, because the vet center does not share your records.
Okay.
Nope, not at all. Totally confidential.
Now, when it comes to like the PTSD thing, so I'm seeing an outside, therapist and all that. And now, what also falls into the category of PTSD? Is it like, like I was an alcoholic.
Yep. So you can have post-traumatic stress with alcohol abuse disorder.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Because luckily, 3 years sober.
Excellent. Very good.
And whoop.
This is audio. What? Sorry, guys.
The hell was that?
I don't know.
You getting hacked, Allie?
No, is somebody reporting my live? Okay, that's crazy. All right.
So
leave me alone.
Yeah. So 3 years sober, and someone was like, oh, where you started drinking in the military.
Yep.
It led you down a deep path.
Absolutely.
Even after the military.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I used to go to meetings, but like how can I bring proof that I was an alcoholic? I mean, like, I talked to my therapist about it.
Yep.
Does he have to say something?
He does. It has to be in your medical records. Yep. Or if you, like your sponsor, if you give him a sponsor, your sponsor can write a statement saying, yep, I was Johnny Cash's sponsor, and he's been with me for 3 years now. So everything that can prove what you are saying is evidence. It doesn't have to be medical records. Like pictures are also evidence. Like, for instance, I have this Vietnam guy, and this is probably one of my favorite stories. It was before the PACT Act. So he was near the DMZ area, right? So exposed to Agent Orange, lost all his medical records, lost everything, right? And so they we have no proof that you were in Vietnam. And he was just devastated. And I'm like, dude, what did you do in Vietnam? He's like, we were building orphanages. I'm like, okay, do you have any contact with anybody? And he's like, no, they're all dead. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, we have to prove that you were in country. Yeah. And he's like, well, I have some pictures. And I'm like, show me. So he came again and he showed me the photos, and it's literally him holding a sign that says the village and where they were in Vietnam with all these little orphans, Vietnamese orphans. And I'm like, holy shit. So we submitted that as evidence, plus his Agent Orange exposure.
Okay.
And boom, rated. So evidence doesn't have to be just medical records. Okay. It could be whatever you have to prove that what you are saying is true.
So where I had on my Facebook, I have a clear picture from overseas of our burn pit.
Yeah. Evidence. That is evidence.
And then it's like with that whole 3M lawsuit too, right?
Yes. So somebody...
I still have them.
You do? Yeah. You have photos with with the 3M earplugs in your ears?
I remember talking to lawyers. I was like, yeah, I actually still have my pair. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you don't use them, do you? I was like, dude, these have just been sitting in the bottom of a box.
Right.
I'm already deaf as fuck right now. So.
Right. Yeah, so that is evidence, pictures. If you have, a CIB or CAB or anything that shows that, that you are in combat, anything that can prove that what you say happened, that's evidence. Okay. So it doesn't just have to be your medical records.
All right. And now, so that's, is that a lot of veterans' excuses of why they haven't done anything. Oh, I need my medical records.
Yes. Well, I can't get my medical records.
Everything's
bro,
already scanned
you
and
don't need
copied.
your medical records. The VA knows you served.
Yeah.
Okay, the VA already knows you served. So if you don't have your DD-214, they know you served. It's fine because you are in a database, right?
The archives.
So, that's right, the archive. So if you want to pull your service treatment records or your ERB, you're just going to archives.gov. And you're going to fill out the form and it says, veteran records, military records.
Yeah, I've looked at the site before.
It's not a quick process. Like, it's going to take them a couple of months.
It's the government.
It's the government, right? So, but if you're curious about what's in there, just archives.gov, request it. You're going to get what they have in the mail. Now, keeping in mind that there was a huge fire, so a lot of records were lost, and that sucks because I actually have one, and the veteran they can't prove that he even served, and I get those guys too. It's like, yeah, I was a super sniper SEAL secret squirrel on the USS Independence, and I'm like, okay, and I'll pull that DD-214, and they didn't even finish basic training. Yeah. So I get that a lot too. Yeah.
I just actually had.
Don't lie to your VSO. We're gonna find out.
So I got this kid recently. I'm not gonna say his name or whatever, but he he went to Marine Corps boot camp, and he made it through quite a way. Yeah. And he so before he went in, he got into an accident. Yeah. And fucked up his knee pretty bad. Yeah. He was on his final PFT. Okay. Got tripped up, got put into the medical platoon or whatever. Yeah. On Paris Island. Yeah. And I just talked to him the other day, and I'm like, "Are you a Marine yet?" And he's like, "I'm home now." Oh. Like, what happened? He was like, "They booted me out. I was a fraudulent enlister."
Oh shit! So shame on his recruiter. Yeah. Why did they label him fraudulent enlistment? Because of his knee?
Yeah, because of the accident. It wasn't put in there.
So that it wasn't? Nope. How did they find out? He disclosed it.
At the hospital when he was down there.
All right. So here's the thing.
So that's like one of those things like the recruiters is like, don't
say. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you have a pre-existing condition and it is exacerbated by service, the military owns that. The VA owns that. So that fucking recruiter, all he had to do was put that recruit had a pre-existing condition to his knees, right? As long as he passed the initial PT test, right? As he would have been fine. Yeah. And so he hurt himself. He could have gotten VA compensation because it was exacerbated by military service. Yeah. So that recruiter, fuck that guy. He just screwed that service member, recruit out of a military
I told
career.
the kid no matter what, I like how proud of him I was.
Yeah,
I was like,
He's a young kid then, I'm assuming, right?
Huh?
He's a young kid, I'm assuming.
He just turned 21.
Wow, yeah.
And I flat out said to him, I'm like, dude, don't be disappointed with yourself. Right. You took the step to leave where you live.
Absolutely.
Something that your friends aren't doing.
Oh yeah, no, they're all smoking and joking, right? Back on the block and
but I said good for him, and he's just now he's working, and I feel terrible. I was like,
but you know what? Like in the scheme of things, like it wasn't his path, right? Yeah. Not to get all like ethereal and stuff, but like it wasn't his path.
He tried. He wasn't one of those people I almost enlisted.
Right, but he did enlist, right?
Like, he did enlist. He went through half a boot camp.
Yeah, and that's no small feat. Like he tried, and it wasn't his fault. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like his recruiter screwed him. Yeah. But I get that. I almost joined all the time, and I don't know if men get it as much as female veterans get it, because I feel like it's like a male ego thing. Because my husband-elect is not a veteran, right? Yeah. So he's retired corrections, did 25 years in prison. But when we go out, people thank him for his service, and he's like, "I'm not a veteran. She is." And then I get the like the Scooby-Doo look, I'm like, "Yes," and like, "Oh, I almost," and I'm like, "Shut up! Either you did or you didn't, right? Either you did or you didn't." I don't. It's like like we sold on Facebook Marketplace a freezer, and the guy shows up to my house, and Joseph's out there, and I come out, and I'm wearing a not the same caliber hoodie, and the garage door's open, so he sees my vet tag. He's like, "Oh, you're a vet." I was like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm waiting for the, I almost joined, right? So at the same time, my father-in-law comes home with pastries from White's or Mike's in Boston.
Yeah.
So there's like big ass cannolis and stuff. So I'm stuffing my face with a cannoli. And after we did the deal, I'm like, you want a cannoli? And he's like, well, I'm not going to say no. So I bring him in the house and I give him a cannoli. And he's like, you know, it's pretty badass. He's like, I was too much of a pussy to enlist. And I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, there was no way. I'm like, okay, like that, like thank you for saying that, and not like I almost joined, right?
Yeah.
Like he said, there's no way. Like I was too much of a pussy to enlist. I'm like,
I sometimes feel like it's like, you know, when you go to a place and like, you know, go to a party or whatever, right?
Yep.
And, you know, then you hear this guy, like, you know, you got people saying, oh, thanks for serving and all that. And then that guy will come up. Well, I almost joined.
yeah,
You know,
I
it's
hate,
almost like
don't do that.
It's like an alpha versus alpha.
Yeah,
you know,
don't do
in
that.
In that presence right
Don't
there.
do that. Like if you almost like you were in the recruiting office, you know, ready to sign the line, and they like, listen, we can't guarantee your MOS. You're going, you know, undesignated. That's maybe I'll accept that as almost, you know, maybe, but just don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
Then you get the guys, you know, oh, I would have, but
If
if
a drill
somebody got in my face, you know,
punch a
then
drill sergeant
I
in
would
the
have
face.
you know,
No, you shut up, you douche. Shut up. You're not punching anybody in the face.
The amount of
Like,
shit that we talked about our drill instructor on, you know, like when they weren't near us, dude, it was the only way to get through boot camp.
Yeah, I loved my drill sergeants. Like they were hard and I was terrified of them, but like I ended up running into my senior drill when I was at Riley. And his name was Drill Sergeant Brunswick, but we called him Drill Sergeant Warlord. Infantry guy, just awesome, right? And my dad died when I was in basic training, so he took me to the airport, and they were just, you know, for like 24 hours, they were human, right? They weren't their drills, you know, because I was devastated. It was out of the blue, you know. He suffered a heart attack. So for 24 hours, I got to see like their humanity. And then I come back. The Army gave me 3 days: the day to fly out, day for the services, and the day to come back. Right, and it was 4th of July weekend, so I missed all that thing. So, I missed training with the bayonets, so I had to do catch up. So they pulled me out of the platoon, and they're like, "This is, you know, drop gloves, blah blah blah, fix bayonets, and all this shit." And my female drill sergeant Black, I'll never forget her. She's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry for your loss," and I'm like, "Thank you, drill sergeant." And she goes, "We care. It may not seem that we care, but we do care." And I am like, "I appreciate that, drill sergeant. Thank you." And then she's like, "All right, shut the fuck up and go." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So she was great. And then never see them again, right? Graduated, never see them again. I'm at the PX at Riley, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, holy shit, that's Drill Sergeant Warlord. And he looks at me, and he's with his wife and a child, and he's looking at me. And I know he recognizes me, but he can't put like a name, right? And I walk up to him, and I'm like, Drill Sergeant Warlord. I'm like, Ali Tavares. And he's like, Tavares. He's like, that's it. He's like, how you doing? And he remembered that my dad died, and he remembered taking me to the airport and stuff. And this has been like 6 years later, right? And I'm like, holy crap, the fact that he remembers. And he's like, you were a good trainee, you were a good recruit. And I'm like, thank you, Drill Sergeant, because it just meant so much to me, But like they're human, and I loved my drill sergeants. I did.
Well, the guy that wasn't our kill hat, I think I may have told the story, but it was a Sunday outside the main gate of Camp Lejeune getting our hair cut.
So wait a minute. Is it Lejeune or Lejeune?
Lejeune.
Because I hear it both. Because it's a
Lejeune.
J. No, I hear like Lejeune and Lejeune.
Lejeune.
Yeah. I mean, it's French, right? Lejeune.
Yeah.
He's a French guy.
Lejeune.
Yeah, is
That's
it
the American
Lejeune?
way.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, America, Lejeune.
So,
So go ahead.
we're at this barber shop, and I'm sitting in the barber chair, and the guy's going to cutting the hair, and all of a sudden I hear gray, and I'm like, what the?
Did your
He's like,
butthole pucker?
Gray. I'm like, oh shit. It's my fucking drill instructor.
And he remembered you.
I hadn't seen him in 3 years.
Oh, and he remembered you. Did your butthole like just pucker?
No,
up and
he
tighten
got a
up?
hard fuck off.
He did? Oh, I would never.
I told him to fuck off.
No, sir.
And,
I'd be terrified.
So
No way.
I can honestly say I know the Marine bro kicked in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he was in a certain type of MOS that
was he a pogue?
You said it.
I knew it. I knew it.
I
yeah.
was dancing
Yeah, if you
around
were
and trying to be
you ain't
nice.
shit. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And I just gave him a hard fuck off, and that was it. And because this guy, I don't know, it's something with people from New England. Everybody in the military hates us because they ain't us.
Right.
But
hate New Englanders?
Yeah,
I think it's
our
the
accent.
way we speak. Yeah, I was gonna say I hate
it's our
I think
accent.
it's the way we speak.
We're
yeah.
cocky.
We are cocky.
And it's just who the fuck we are.
But we're kind. Like when it matters, like we will give you the shirts off our back. You know what I mean? Like we're assholes, but we're kind assholes. You know what I mean? Like when like shit hits the fan, like when like we do shit. We help our own. You know what I mean? Like but we're cocky, and that's why we're called massholes.
I think that's the thing I love about Massachusetts. You can pull up at a red light and have no beef with the person next to you. You can roll your window down, tell them to go fuck themselves, and they are down for an argument for that.
Yes. So true story. Swear to God, true story. So when I was stationed at SIL, I had Oklahoma plates. I drove up for Thanksgiving or whatever, right? And we were in Fall River. Crossing I think it's like North Main Street to get onto the Braga Bridge before it doesn't look like that now. It was the old Braga Bridge, right?
Okay.
So 2 lanes turn into one. One lane goes like to the right, but then the lane to go to the bridge is on the left. So I'm like, oh shit. So I turn on my blinker and I cut the guy off in front of me. And he's like, you fucking redneck. And I was so offended. I rolled down my window. I'm like, I was born here. Like, this is my hometown. I'm
The
like,
fuck you talking about,
so
guy?
offended that he called me a redneck. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, all right, I'll never forget that. I was born here.
It's great. I have a buddy of mine. He checks into Devon's tomorrow. And,
Oh, nice.
He's gonna be
That's gonna suck. Devon's is not what Devon's used to be.
So this is the last 4 years of his Marine Corps career.
He'll be all right.
And
It's gonna be chill.
yeah,
It's gonna be chill.
yeah, he's got a pretty
Devon's doesn't do shit.
legit job.
What's he do?
He's gonna be the ops chief.
Oh fuck yeah. Good
Yeah.
for him.
So he came up from Camp Lejeune. Born in Virginia, pretty much been stationed in North Carolina his whole
So
career.
he's like a hillbilly.
And when he got up here, he's like, man, all we wanted to do was get Chick-fil-A up in Burlington, yada, yada, yada. The fucking people driving around here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, welcome to Massachusetts, man.
Yeah.
I was like, if you go that way,
Yeah.
stay west of Hanscom because it's a little more peaceful. The second you cross 95,
That's it.
you are fucked, my friend.
But you know what? Like, I think Rhode Islanders are the worst drivers.
Dude.
And Virginians. I was stationed at Eustis, and I got into a fist fight. Swear to God, my roomie and I got into a fist fight
Hell
at a
yeah.
red light in Newport News, Virginia. And I'm like, and then the light turns green. The dude gets back in his car, and we're like, we are in deep shit because we were in uniform. And I'm like, that just happened. Virginians and Rhode Islanders, worst drivers in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Floridians, too. And I think it's because the population of Florida is old.
Yes.
So Rhode Island, Virginia, Florida, and then Massachusetts in that order. Terrible drivers.
Yeah, Rhode Island is definitely the number one.
Yeah.
And I live right off of 95 in Attleboro. And I don't take
You're right on the border.
the highway in the morning because
don't.
it is the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
The minimum speed on that highway is 85, 90 miles an hour.
But posted speed is only 65.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And that's dangerous. You can't go 65.
Yeah,
You
it's-
literally cannot.
Yeah.
You're holding up traffic.
yeah, it's freaking bad.
Yeah.
And I mean,
why are we like this?
I don't know. I think it's the weather.
Could be. We're all pissed off,
we're
right?
fucking cold for friggin' 5 months a year. Then
More.
we're sweating our balls off.
For
So.
It's
3.
the dirty water.
It is the dirty water.
dirty water,
right?
man.
Yeah.
So-
That's funny.
But no, like I said, we are back in the military. We were hated, from being from where we are, and I also think it's because of the sports teams too.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Tom Brady era, everybody hated
Yeah,
the
I was
Patriots.
enlisted when the Red Sox won the pennant, and I was gloating about it.
Oh,
for
yeah.
months.
Yeah, you got it.
Months.
It's like
yeah.
it's like that famous meme when he walks up to the window. How do you like them apples?
Yeah. yeah. Yep.
So I do have to say, like, being from New England and having, Brady being on his shit when he was, it's like that definitely changed my entire career, like in the Army. Like I was.
How so?
Oh, well, I mean, people hated me for sure. Like, I mean, but then there was the years, like, I was in South Korea when we lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I was the only Patriots jersey in that fucking bar on the base, and they let me have it. Oh, my God.
Like the 18-1 season?
Yeah, exactly. And they should have took my bootlaces that night. Like,
oh, no.
yeah, it was bad. Like,
you poor
man.
thing.
But, yeah, the highs and lows, I mean, we carried it, though. Like, we were the
did.
champions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, we did.
We are fucking proud of that.
Yeah. I went to my first Celtics game ever a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Ever.
Still haven't been to a Celtics
I had
game.
a blast. One of used to be one of my clients. I got him his rating, and we've become friends, right? Because like you guys tell me your secrets, so I know like everything there is to know about you guys, right? Like more than your wives do.
Yeah.
And so he invited me to the wedding, and we're good friends now.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, listen, I have 2 extra tickets to the Celtics. Do you want to go? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to go. So we went, had a blast, and I forgot where I was going with this, but I went to my first Celtics game.
Yeah.
Who were they playing? What game
It was
did
a
you
lot
go
of
to?
fun. It was a lot of fun.
Do you know who they were playing?
Yes, it was a not very good team when we beat them like 100 and something to like 70 something.
So I just brought my son to the Golden State versus
Did
Celtics.
Steph play?
And we lost. Yeah, Steph went off, and we ended up losing that game. My son's a big Steph Curry fan, so.
That's the thing. Like, I hear a lot about it on talk radio, and they're always like, people pay all these big bucks to go to these games to see these big time superstars,
Right.
and they're sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
It's like
Wah, wah.
they need to come up with something, because it's like all these people went to Gillette Stadium to see Messi play.
Yes.
Imagine if he did not play.
Oh, we'd be pissed. We'd be pissed because
Right?
you go to watch these and I'm a huge soccer fan. When Messi played, it was amazing. You're watching a living legend. Although I am to Ronaldo, right? Like fellow Portuguese.
Ronaldo, pretty boy
I love
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a beautiful man, but he is the best. Of course, we choose Ronaldo over Messi. But no, it's amazing. Imagine if Messi was hurt
Oh yeah,
and didn't play.
yeah, dude.
We'd be pissed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it in the Olympics, like that year that it was the World Cup when Messi, I think he did get hurt, and they ended up losing the World Cup. Like, dude.
Yep. Imagine you're so good that your his back must be killing from carrying the whole team.
Oh yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
it's all he does in Florida. So
Yeah, and I want to know how much he was paid.
How
much he was paid to go from Europe Cup to America.
Well, you got to remember the David Beckham influence.
Beckham did it too. Yeah.
I mean,
And Ronaldo's playing in Saudi Arabia.
and then he has Suarez on the team too.
Yeah.
So
how much millions? How many millions? I don't know.
Yeah,
And plus, he's getting older, so it's not as aggressive, right? American soccer is not as aggressive as the Europeans play, right, or the South Americans play. So maybe this is his final stop, and he's done, right? Because Ronaldo had said he's out of the cup. It was his last cup,
Oh, yeah.
Portugal played terrible, and I was so upset. Ay, viva Portugal. That's all right.
the sports is it. I was saying to you last night, with the World Cup coming to Gillette
Oh
Stadium.
my gosh, I'm so excited.
You know-
$1,500 though.
Yeah, I mean, I totally think it's worth just for the experience of World Cup
It is.
soccer.
Right. I'm gonna start panhandling or something. I'm gonna need some kickbacks from our VA compensation because I want to go to the World Cup so bad.
Yeah.
But $1,500, I can't justify that, man. I got a wedding coming up, right? And that's fucking stupid planning and expensive. But
So when's that coming up?
so that is not until October of 2025.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're getting there. We're
you
less
guys are
than a year
getting
away.
pumped, huh?
Yeah, like most of the stuff is done. Like in January, we do the cake tasting and the food tasting, and I meet with the band. The dress is done. The flowers come in March, so we're getting there.
That's good.
The honeymoon is going to be booked in December because it's cheaper in December. So we're going to Vietnam.
Cool.
For our honeymoon, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're doing Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And I've always wanted to go to Vietnam, and he's always wanted to go to Thailand. So I found a company that does a 3-country tour. It's 17 days. And it was food's included, transfers, hotels, everything is included. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Like, let's go, dude. Like,
wow.
When are we going to do this again? You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to Vietnam. And one of the tours, because they give us the whole itinerary, is the tunnels that the Viet Cong built. And it says right there, it's like, keep in mind that this is from the perspective of the Vietnamese people in the Viet Cong. So if you are sensitive, I think is the word they used. And I'm like, oof. Like, do I want to go on this tour? Because I know, like, my Vietnam guys, like, I know what happened. You know, not firsthand, obviously, because I'm too young for Vietnam. But, like, the stories that I hear about these tunnels, and I'm like, do I want to experience this? And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I want to see how it was made. I want to see what happened.
It's going to be crazy because you're going to be down there in the tunnel, and you're just going to be saying to yourself, like, holy fuck, this is what,
right,
the average Joe saw.
Right. Yeah. So I know I'm going to be emotional that day, and I just hope that there's like at least one other veteran there.
Yeah.
So, they're like, oh, why is this white girl crying? Because I have a lot of Vietnamese friends, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. So, so 17 days, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, I go to Da Nang, and they're just all these towns and these cities that I've been hearing for the last 6 years. Where my Vietnam veterans were stationed, and lived for a year, 2 years. I'm going to go. Like that's amazing to me. So.
That's how I felt like when I went to like Pearl. Well, I didn't go to Pearl Harbor. I was staying on Oahu, but like I remember I had a few drinks.
A few? How many is a few?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
But I'm at this beach bar and I'm legit just looking out over the ocean and I'm like, dude, I'm just picturing Japanese planes flying over.
Yep.
And it's like, this place is fucking beautiful. Like, how could they do this?
Right.
Yeah,
humans are awful.
And I would love to, actually fucking Gettysburg, going onto a battlefield.
Oh, I've been for my birthday, 2 years ago. It was surreal. We took a horse-drawn carriage through the battlefield of Gettysburg, and it's not what I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was like a literal field. The highway, the street, like literally runs through the battlefield. Like the whole town,
dude, it's fucking huge.
Is a fucking battlefield.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I saw like the monuments, like Massachusetts monument is there, right?
Yeah.
First Infantry or whatever. And I sit there and I'm like, just picturing.
Yeah,
and
trying to imagine it.
Yeah, like the horses, right? Like the smell. No one thinks about the smell, right? You think about like the Union and the Confederates and people. Yep, the tents, the smell, the horses, right? They had cows there. The water down at the river that you had to go get.
Yeah,
right. Like the trampling of the bushes and the trees and like the holes. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking over, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. And I'm trying so hard to picture it. And then we were there's a rock wall. And then there's a monument where some Confederate general or colonel or whatever jumped the wall and he fell because he was hit by a fucking cannon. And so they put a little thing there for him. And I'm standing at the top of the hill looking down, and I'm in my mind's eye just picturing this guy with a sword.
Yeah.
Knowing he knows he's going to die.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and just jumping the wall and just charging. Like, the balls of steel these guys must have.
Dude, I remember when I was on Little Round Top and, with the Union one.
Yeah.
But, like, when I was standing up there and I'm just looking down and I'm like, dude, the Confederates gave it their last right here.
Yeah.
And you're just picturing, like, the the smoke of the muskets and all that.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yep.
just lingering in the air,
Yep.
and down you can see where like a huge massacre happened of
Yeah. I mean,
Confederates
that's the
and all
casualties,
that.
right? Like it's. And do you believe it's haunted? Do you believe in that stuff?
I mean, I've heard the things. I mean, I would like to go walk the battlefield
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah, same.
I think that's something that I would really like to do
yeah.
because that
And
would
it's
be
not
cool.
too far away. We drove.
It's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it took us 7 on the way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not very far away. So I went to for my birthday, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to go to Gettysburg. Fuck
Yeah.
it, let's go. So we went, and it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just surreal. Like there's just this feeling, and then there's that barn that still has the cannonball in it, like the whole.
Oh, yeah, yep.
yeah. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, you just get automatic chills when
Yeah,
you're down
you do.
there.
Yeah, and I think it's more because we're veterans. Like. And I think every generation feels like the generation before us had it worse. You know what I mean? Like the Desert Storm guys had it worse than we did. The Vietnam guys had it worse. The Korean guys had it worse.
Yeah.
The World War II guys had it worse. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I have so much respect for, I don't know, for my elders, I guess, and the war fighters before us. And I try to picture like in the early 1800s, late 1700s, even like the Revolutionary War,
Yeah.
right? Like we have fucking muskets. It started in Massachusetts. America started here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the shot heard around the world with Lexington and Concord.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's amazing, And I don't know. I wonder if their thought process and their feelings were the same as ours. Like
Yeah.
when we get our orders and we're like, "Fuck, we're going." How did they feel? You know what I mean? Like
It's like the reward back then. It's like you had a lot of the the slaves that fought in those wars,
Yeah.
and they were guaranteed freedom if they
Yep.
fought. So that's
you
what
made
they
it, if you lived.
that's what they were fighting for. They had their sights set to be a free person,
right.
And and that's a fucking great reward
Right.
offered to them,
Right.
and it blows my mind the amount of like the history. And we talk about it, we watch it and all that. And then once you actually go to these places, like, I still want to go to Normandy. I would love to see that. Omaha Beach.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to see it.
Yeah, so Mohawks 22, are you familiar with them?
Yes.
They are a nonprofit. They're phenomenal. You go through airborne school with them.
Oh.
So I don't know if you know Lou Delano. She is
I met her at the
Yeah.
parade, Veterans Day parade.
Yes. So
Memorial.
she just got done going to Normandy and Omaha Beach, and they sponsored Mohawks 22 sponsored that, and they met with local veterans, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what an amazing experience! Like I would do that too. Like would love to go. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just to like sit there and just, stand on the beach and you're just looking at that ridge line and it's like, it's just a wall of bullets coming at you,
Right.
and
I can't like it. Just God.
I love that feeling. It's
Getting
like
shot at.
it's an adrenaline rush, but like,
Right.
well, it's like I can't go back to Afghanistan,
Right. I mean, yeah, no, we can't. Right. Yeah, I can't fly
I
to
can't go
Kabul.
back there and relive it. I don't think other people could relive that,
Right.
And I mean, still got people in Iraq, but the people that first pushed into Iraq, do they want to go back to Iraq right
Right.
now?
Yeah.
It's not a touristy spot.
Right. Yeah.
So-
You're not vacationing in the sands of Iraq. So I have a question on my TikTok. Someone says my claim has been on step 3 for a few months. How long will it take before my next step? Listen, my friend, I don't know. Nobody knows. It's impossible to guess because so when you file a claim, you file a claim with the VA. Then you get called in for your compensation and pension exam through a third-party vendor, QTC, LHI, VS, OptumServe. So then you go to your compensation and pension exam. You meet with the doctor. After that, the doctor writes up his stuff. It goes to the national queue, okay? It sits in the national queue. Meanwhile, somebody is pulling your service treatment records and they're trying to develop your claim. Then it gets assigned a rater. The rater will look at your service treatment records and all your evidence and read the write-up from the doctor, okay? Once that's done, they're going to pull out the 38 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, and that is what determines what percentage that the veteran gets. So if you can Google this, 38 CFR, and if you're curious on what percentage, like what body part gets what percentage, you can Google like 38 CFR diabetes, 38 CFR post-traumatic stress, 38 CFR lower lumbar sprain, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then based on the range of motion, pain level, weight bearing stuff, whatever body part, illnesses, your symptoms will depend on the percentage given. Once the rater goes through everything you have claimed and assigned a rating, it goes through like a quality assurance check, and then a decision is made and you get your letter in the mail. So this is not a fast process, especially if you have like 10, 11, 15, 30 items that you're claiming. You want the raters to take their time. You want them to go through your entire medical records. So it depends on what you're claiming, on what the symptoms are, how busy. Like I know I have a bunch of rater friends, and they're like mandated overtime.
Yeah.
And especially since the PACT Act, like the VA, good intentions, bad judgment. The VA, I don't know why the VA was not prepared. Like they knew it was coming. They knew the PACT Act was going to get passed.
Yeah.
Right. And they knew that people were going to submit their claims, and they're just overworked.
Yeah.
So please be patient. There is no way. I mean, they want to do it less.
Slow
than
is
6
smooth,
months.
smooth is fast.
Correct. Yes, exactly. So just be patient. And then I don't really recommend going on the va.gov to look at your claim to see what step you're on, because it can change. So just be patient. Okay. That's the best answer I can give you. Just be patient.
Well, everybody, this is Allie.
Hi.
She is your VSO.
I am the VSOstest
She
with
is-
the mostest.
She is awesome. She knows how to make an impact.
Well, I appreciate that.
And
I'm just me. I'm just
I
me.
like seeing you outside of work, even though we just talked work a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
But-
fine. Yeah, no, I like being invited. And you know what? Like I used to like, how come nobody invites me to anything? Like I never get invited to parties.
Yeah.
I never get invited to like baptisms or anything. And I asked somebody, I'm like, why don't you guys ever invite me to anything that's like not work related? And he literally says to me, he's like, because you're our VSO.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, because you, like, exactly what he said, like, you have your shit together and like you're up here. And I'm like, that's not true. That's not true at all. Like I drink and party and
You're a
you know
human.
What I mean? I am a human.
I'm
Yes,
only human
I-
after all.
right. Yes,
So-
exactly. So it's nice to be invited to these parties and stuff, and I'm glad that now, I mean, after being in this role 6 years, that you guys see me as Allie and a sister, and not
Yeah.
the VSO. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so many people appreciate you, and
Well,
like I
thank
said,
you. I
it was
appreciate you guys. I do, like from the bottom of my heart. Like I bleed for you guys.
and it was great to see yourself and your
Joseph,
husband
my
elect
husband elect.
last night.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's
awesome.
He's very like an introvert, you know what I mean? So and I told him like, listen, if we're gonna work, like you have to attend these functions with me. Like we have galas to attend and dinners
Yeah.
and stuff. And he's like, yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah,
I
he
will always
adapts
support you.
very
he does.
easily.
Yep. And he like withdraws a little bit and he gets on his
Yeah.
cell phone and plays his empires and puzzles games, But when he's engaged, he'll have a conversation. So you
Yeah.
guys were talking about like Fortnite and
video games
yeah,
last
video
night.
games. Yeah, of course.
So-
He loves that stuff because he's a dork. He's a 57-year-old dork, He's my dork and I love him.
Well, everybody, this is the end of this episode with Allie
thank
Rodriguez.
you for having me so much. For my second time too, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next time,
New
let's on
setting.
8:00 in the morning. Yeah. No, you guys are killing it. I love this. I love the space. I love the equipment. You guys are like high tech now. You guys you're killing it. I'm very proud of you.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. Crawl,
So-
walk, run.
Thank you all for tuning in. And if, actually, we got Turkey Day coming up.
We do. Yeah. Are you cooking?
Fuck no.
I am.
I'm
I'm
going
not
to
doing
Hanscom
turkey.
for a turkey.
Oh, nice.
My
All right.
because that's where my buddies
Right.
living now. So, and so we'll be up there enjoying some turkey dinner.
Yeah.
And so everybody,
Be kind to yourselves,
yep,
please.
be kind, be thankful,
Yes.
and have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Love you all.
Well, Johnny Cash, another episode in the books. That's it for today, but the journey doesn't end here. Every veteran has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. If you're a veteran with a message, a challenge, or a triumph to share, we want you to join us.
Your experience matters to us, and together we can inspire others and remind the world what resilience truly looks like. Until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone in this fight. We'll see you on the next episode.
Cool.
The Veteran Project. 4 vets, 5 vets.
We are not responsible for any trauma, PTSD, tinnitus, or flashbacks